So the big question is this: how are real estate investors who don't have a ton of free time, don't have access to off-market deals, and didn't start life on third base, how do we grow a real estate business conservatively to support our families, finally leave the corporate rat race, and build a legacy? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Ed Matthews, and this is Real Estate Underground. This is the Real Estate Underground podcast show number 24.
Hey everybody, Ed Matthews here at Real Estate Underground. I am super excited. I am joined by my friend and fellow CT RIA member, Gary Crawford. Gary, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
One of the things that, and one of the ways that you and I got to know each other is through the Fairfield County group. Yep. And I marvel at the deals that people are doing in Fairfield and Westchester County in New York, not only because they're really cool projects, but the size and magnitude of those projects as compared to me in little East Bumblehump, Connecticut. The size of the deals that you guys are doing is really impressive. So Gary, you and I have known each other for a little over a year now and gained a massive amount of respect for you and your business and how you operate. But for those folks that haven't had the benefit of meeting you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you and how'd you get here?
Sure. So yeah, I'll kind of go back to, I guess, my college days when I started looking into real estate. So it pretty much started in sophomore year of college, ended up looking for a place to live off campus. A bunch of my buddies and I, there was like 7 of us, we rented a house together. We were each paying like $500 a month. And I was like, hold on a sec. My landlord is making all this money off of a house that she has a mortgage payment of $1,000 a month. Something's wrong. So I was like, all right, that's what I want to do. I was like, I want to get into real estate, get a rental. And that was kind of my idea. But as you know, right, you're 18, 19 years old. You don't know exactly how you're going to get there. So fast forward, I graduated college. I became the kid with a business degree who's trying to figure out, what to do. And so naturally, I went to Thailand for a month.
Of course.
Tried figuring something out, just wanted to just travel, check it out. And then after I got back, I was like, all right, I really want to get into real estate. So I was looking at where properties were really cheap at the time. And I remember looking in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I saw that there were 4 units, 4plexes going for 180 grand. So at that time I was like, oh my God, 45 a door. I was like, I got to go check this out, right? Because I'm from Madison, Connecticut, right? So houses at the time there were 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. So I flew out there and I was like, all right, I think I got to move out here. So I found a job. I lined it up. I was doing like sales for a painting company and then kind of running some of their jobs. So I packed up my car like 2 weeks later after flying out there, had like $1,200 in my bank account. And I ended up renting a room out there for like $400 and just kind of started chipping away at saving some money. So that was really like my first big move, was getting out there. And after that, I just started building a little nest egg of money. I don't know if you're familiar with Acorns. Do you know it's like a...
I am, yes.
Yep. People roll their, it rounds up their money for every dollar spent and, it puts it into an account for them, a trading account. So I did that. I saved up 10 grand and I realized I could buy a house. I took that 10 grand, put a down payment down on a property, purchased it for 175 and then rehab the whole thing. It was actually a 7-bedroom, 5 baths. And so I did exactly what my landlord did. And I rented out, each of the rooms and I lived in the master. And so after all said and done, I was making about 3 grand a month off of that. And eventually I was like, you know what? I don't need this job, this sales job. I can go into real estate full time. All my expenses were covered. So
right.
that was what I did. And then I went to kind of one of the meetups like we have here in Connecticut, and people were talking about wholesaling, and I started kind of getting interested in that. That was really when I got into it, started wholesaling, ended up scaling up to like 2-3 deals a month. And then Vegas got pretty saturated with the flow of investors from, all over the place as the market heated up. I sold that house I bought for 175. I sold it for 300. And then I started virtually wholesaling and flipping in Ohio. And that was good and bad. Columbus, Ohio. So another hot market at the time. And then eventually I moved back 4 years later. I moved back to Connecticut here. Yeah. So it's been like 5.5, almost 6 years that I've been doing real estate and been out here. So.
Wow. What a trip. And what a story, right? Proof positive. You don't need money to get into real estate.
You don't.
I know this is a bit of a loaded question, but I'm asking anyway. So that's where you were, right? That's how it started. Yeah. Now, how's it going? Let's talk about that.
Let's go. There's a lot of moving pieces now. So like you hit on before, I'm down in Stamford is where I live. I also actually just bought where you see me back here, I bought a lake house on Candlewood. So I'm currently renovating that, the full house, and going to eventually rent it out on Airbnb and live in that as well. So to be honest, that's becoming like a big project of mine, which it's a little more. I've spent 5 years just doing strictly properties for investment purposes and making money, so when you start to do, and I'm sure you've already done this. So when, you start to do something for yourself, it feels a little better when you get to pick out flooring and it's not a house that is going to be gone in a month. It's something that, it's for you. So it's kind of cool to see that, use my own crews and stuff, get some savings done that way. So that's kind of what I've shifted into. I just closed on that 2 weeks ago, but then I have my flipping business going on. So we're based my partner's in Brantford. So we're 50-50 partnership. And essentially what I do is I find the deals. I basically connect with wholesalers, connect with agents and different people. I do that. I run all the numbers, figure out all of that. And then I also sell the deals on the back end. And then my partner, Brian, he manages all the rehabs. So he handles that. We'll get like a hard money loan together, some private money. He manages that. And once it's done, the renovation, I sell it. So personally, I'll just be completely honest. I hate it, and I also suck at it, is managing construction. So I've realized that I pass that off. So,
hey, it's something that I'm 52 right now, and I'm one of those entrepreneurs that it's like, I'll figure it out. We can do this. I know how to do this. And even what I don't know how to do, I'll figure out. Right. And I did that for a long time until I realized, and it was a coach that was basically telling me, you're slowing yourself down because you're not good at everything. Right. And it was one of those Dr. Heal Thyself moments, because I'd spent all those years in technology and consulting trying to convince executives to utilize their time in their highest and best use. And I was violating that exact tenet as I was running my own business. So the fact that you learned that so early in your business experience is hats off to you, because it took me about 25 years to learn that lesson.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I have an inkling, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to ask. Last year or over the last 2 years, right? How many flips have you done? And what is the average project size or price point that you've been working with?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A motivated seller just filled out your web form. If you call back within 5 minutes, you're nearly 4 times more likely to get that seller appointment. But delay your follow-up by even just 10 minutes? Forget it. You're toast. Ella Vista Connect calls that lead back in 60 seconds, qualifies them, and schedules your meeting. Find out how much slow follow-up is costing you. Free calculator at ellavista.com/underground.
It's definitely a big range. So something I didn't touch on is right when I moved back to Connecticut from Vegas, I wanted to figure out, okay, who are big players in the area and how are they getting their deals? What does their systems and processes look like? Because it's different, as you know, wherever you go. So flipping is flipping, but there's a lot more that goes into it. So I worked with a company out of New York, out of White Plains. And what I had a deal with them where I sold all their houses. I was the dispositions. I sold all of them. And then I also handled some of the transactions from start to finish in that sense. And with attorneys, and I know Connecticut and New York are both attorney states. New York is probably about 3 times worse than Connecticut. And I think it's why a lot of flippers stay out of there, is because deals are just so, with them last, a year, I did 40 houses with them. And then this year so far, we've done 10. And then we close on another 6 next week. but now we're kind of starting to focus on bigger properties. So we actually have first deal in Greenwich right now. And I'm not going to lie, I found out yesterday the rehab number. I'll get to that in a second, but it kept me up.
Yeah, I'm cringing waiting for the number.
So I'll kind of run through the numbers if that's okay. Bought it for 685, 777, lucky sevens. Right. And actually the first house we bought on the market, I've always bought from wholesalers. And then even the house I bought was, like where I lived in Vegas, that was the only other house. And, I'm doing 50, 60 deals in Ohio and 40, 50 deals in Vegas, and only 2 in total on market. So bought that house for 685. And originally we thought that rehab number was going to be 200, 250, because what we're doing is we're adding an additional 1,300 square feet. And then we're also doing the attic, which adds an additional 1,000 square feet, but it doesn't count on the technical square footage. And as we're tearing it apart, it ends up turning into a new build, basically, because all we're using is the foundation that's there and we're adding on to it. It's pretty much new construction. So that budget that was originally 250, it jacked up to 300. And then now we're getting bids for 425 to 450. And
so is that because of scope or material costs or?
A little bit of both. So, prices are going up from a standpoint of materials. Yep. So definitely with that. And then also, we've added a few more things to hopefully increase the sale price, because in a market like that, people will pay for the better finishes, they'll pay for it. The money you get back 100%. So we started doing more of that. And then also naturally, labor as well, just going up. So I would guess that number when we're all said and done is going to be 500,000 realistically.
Okay. So you bought it for 680, you said?
685. Yep.
685, 777, $500,000. So you're into it for almost 1.2 million.
Yep.
What's your projected ARV on that project? Just ballpark.
So at first it was 1.5 when we bought it, but now as we're the new construction market and everything, we're probably at 1.7 right now. And if the market keeps going up, which in areas like that, I know there's been higher interest rates and all that stuff going on, but interestingly enough, out there, the market actually goes more off of the stock market, because all those people are in finance and they're all working for hedge funds and financial advisors and such. So they work more off of that. So if people are making money in the market like that, then we shouldn't have an issue with that. And Cos Cob is the specific area in Greenwich, and they're actually up 25% from last year. And the average sale price was 1.95. So
that's impressive. So congratulations on that project. So I'm curious, you turn on CNBC or any of the mainstream media, and they're all starting to kind of worry about recession is coming, right? And Jamie Dimon, CEO at Chase, was talking about the average American has about 6 to 9 months of spending left in them, which tells us that a recession is probably 9 to 18 months away, give or take. Yep. Right. So what's your perspective on the market in terms of how you're buying, what your approach is? How are you making sure that big project that it sounds like from a timing perspective, you'll dispose of that well before anything happens. But I would imagine the next projects you're doing, you're probably already thinking about this stuff. So how are you looking at negotiations in the market and your buying power and all that in terms of what's probably coming in terms of the recession?
Yeah. Obviously no one can really predict the future, that no one has a crystal ball to really know when that's going to happen. And how significantly that is going to affect us. I will say that I feel like a market like Connecticut or New York, Northeast, stronger markets like this, they don't fluctuate as much as go look at the historical data from Phoenix or Las Vegas. There's
just a train wreck, right?
Yeah. So, I think that helps us a little bit, but then also at the end of the day, we would pick up properties where we were okay making 30K. And that was all right, minimum. And we were going to make 30,000. We're okay with that. And with those deals, we're talking $250,000, $300,000 homes. So we're lower end prices, but now we've kind of upped that to more of the 40 plus range, and we're becoming a little more picky. We have a couple right now that are in that price range of the $300,000 range and 350. And there's also a couple ones that we plan on keeping as rentals now. We're going to refinance, and just for tax purposes, we'll hold on to them. But when you're buying at 75% of ARV, I think that, yeah, you might not make 40 grand, but if something happens and you make 10, then all right, you're not losing $40,000.
Right.
So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, as being an educated investor and being a flipper, if you're buying at a discount, I don't want to say you can't go wrong, but you're not going to lose your pants fully.
Correct. Yeah. And I think you're smart, right? I mean, the fact is that where you make money, you talk to you talk to me, you talk to any of the folks that have flipped or bought any real estate for that matter, is you make a lot of your money the day you buy the place, not the day you sell it. Right.
Right.
And so planning for that, I tell our acquisitions team here at Clark Street, we plan for mushroom clouds on the horizon. And when they don't come, we're pleasantly surprised when we make more money. But the fact is that we're looking at projects, whether it be a multifamily flip, vacation rental, whatever, and we've got multiple outs, and we expect that the market is going to correct 8, 10, 12 points. And if it does, so be it, we'll be okay. Our approach is similar to yours in that we're buying flips. And then as we get to be ready to go to market, we're making a decision about whether or not it makes sense to hold on to it and turn it into a vacation rental for a period of time and then 1031 exchange out of it, or does it make sense to just get rid of it?
Right.
So yeah, what you're saying makes a lot of sense to me. It's very prudent.
Yeah. And then also one more thing I'll touch on is I see a lot of flippers that they see a positive outlook for the market. So they will buy based on like an estimated ARV in the future, right? So they're banking on appreciation essentially. And right now I have a lot of friends in Vegas. First of all, they buy at like 85 cents on the dollar out there. Like everyone's scratching for a deal, so the returns are just so small, but some of them are buying based on, because houses are appreciating $10,000 a month over there. So they're banking on that in 3-4 months when they sell. So I don't look at that at all, only really go off of houses that are sold, not contingent, not active. Because
so smart.
You don't know what's going to happen there. So.
Yeah, that's incredibly smart because you buy in the market that you're in, not the market you think is coming, right? Because it's impossible to time a market.
Right.
I've always, and you and I've had this conversation, we don't need a crazy growing market to make money at flipping. We just need a stable market, right? We need something that's predictable. And so even when people are either overpaying or over leveraging their purchases, if you're basically assuming that the ARV today is the ARV 3 months from now when you're done with the project or whatever long it takes. And if you get surprised the upside, so be it, right? But that's smart. So you're protecting your downside by buying them well, and you're protecting your overall operation by not over projecting your pro forma ARV. So smart.
Buying investment real estate is both thrilling and sometimes stressful. Without a lending expert by your side, most investors don't stand a chance. That's where CT RIA Funding comes in. CT RIA Funding was founded by investors to help investors just like you fund their deals. Whether you're buying a single-family rehab, an apartment building, or really any investment property, our team will understand your deal and help you close quickly. Go to ctreiafunding.com or call us at 860-876-0572.
You are someone that I gained a lot of respect for about 14 seconds after I shook your hand for the first time, just because of the way your head works and how aggressive you are and how smart you are about your market. So one of the things that we all see at our meetups is kind of throw them into two buckets. They're the active investors, and then there are the dreamers, right? The ones that are trying to figure it out. And this podcast and what we do at CT RIA and the other things that we do within the marketplace is all about helping those dreamers pull the trigger and get in the game, right? And then also helping those experienced folks to scale their businesses. But from your perspective, given your bias towards action, right? What do you think separates those dreamers from the entrepreneurs who are operating in this business right now?
Honestly, I like to say you either have it or you don't, from a work ethic or action standpoint.
Yeah.
But I do believe strongly in that. However, there are people that might not be living, sleeping, breathing real estate, or, they have another job going on or whatever, and they want to get involved. And I would say the biggest thing is partnering and joining a team. whether it's an accountability partner where you guys are each doing your own business, but you're holding each other accountable on, maybe it's just starting out, maybe it's cold calling or finding a list or talking X amount of agents for the week, doing something like that. Or it could be literally you partner with someone like myself. I partnered with Brian, who manages all the flips because I suck at flipping. So I partner with someone like that. Or I have my real estate license myself, but in a market like Greenwich, for example, I use the realtor because I know that they know the market better than anyone. They've been there 40 years and they know every street and who owns this house and this house. And you can't put a price tag on that.
And again, highest and best use, right?
Right. So, and then when you're starting out, you reach out to some people that are doing deals and stuff, or that kind of are where you want to be. And then, you kind of pick their brain. And if they see you're willing to actually work and that you really are committed to something, they're going to help you out. And if they don't, well, there's 1,000 other people that will. So don't take no as an answer, and really just try and network. That's the biggest thing. Network with other people that are doing what you want to do or that you can work with. So
the advice I give folks, that when I have a cup of coffee with somebody and they say, well, what would be the advice you would give me? And I said, make friends. It's a relationship driven business. Make them aware of who you are and what you do. Make friends with them, like them, and get them to like you. Build trust, earn their trust. And then, at some point you get to earn the opportunity to do business with them. Right.
Yep.
It's that simple. And you're walking, breathing proof of that, given how many relationships you have across the wholesale world and the attorneys and accountants and all the other folks you deal with. I had no idea it was that large a number that, you've done. Did I hear right, about 90 deals and 2 of them are off the MLS? Is that right? Did I hear that right?
Off the MLS. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's been definitely over 100 since starting. Yeah. But only 2 on the MLS. Yep.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, it's obvious that you've had a lot of mentors and people that have kind of steered you in the right direction. I'm curious what the best advice you ever got and who gave it to you?
So I would say 2 people, and I'll make both of them quick. One is Ryan Pineda. A lot of people know him just from social media, big time. I don't want to say guru because I don't like the word guru. Sometimes there's people that are quote unquote gurus, but are very good mentors and will sincerely help you out. So he always told me you can always go broke buying good deals, because basically I actually bought 2 houses off of him, and one of them I had to sell it like a month after I bought it because I ran out of money. Yep. And there's always deals out there that it's easy to, when you start to learn that there's so many deals out there and you connect with so many people, you're always going to have an influx of houses coming in. You just got to know like where your max is. I always like to kind of push things to an extreme, which can be good and bad. That's why even having my partner, Brian, like he'll know when to pump the brakes and be like, all right, Gary, like we don't have to buy another 4 houses this month. Let's buy 3 and then we'll go from there. But I think capital is like a big thing. You really have to make sure that you have enough reserves and you have enough capital to do these deals, because you're going to live and die by that. So
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of the concept of leaders or readers, right? And so in terms of your education, right? We never stop learning. Do you listen to podcasts, or do you read? Are you an Audible guy? What are you paying attention to these days?
I'll be completely honest. When I started out, I was all about listening to like Bigger Pockets podcasts and different, like just motivational, more mindset based, like Ed Milet, for example.
Sure. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then I kind of bounced to like reading more like motivational stuff, and then more stuff based on like mindset, with really just bettering yourself as a person mentally. But I mean, right now I'm actually reading a book. It's called You're Too Good to Feel This Bad. And I'm not depressed. It's really a book just about like a healthy lifestyle overall, from eating, exercise to, having positive thoughts and mindset and all of that. So I got to the point where I don't want to say like I'm a know-it-all in real estate, but there gets to be like some things that are repetitive that are great for beginners and people starting out, for example, Bigger Pockets. But after a while, it does become a little repetitive. So I steer away from that. I also steer away from the news, because the news is the news.
Leads, right? So it's all depressing.
Yeah. So I stay away from that as well. And I'll read here and there, but I'll be honest, now I'm more so, I try to get out of the business mind too much because I have a habit of being obsessive. And when I'm involved in something, it'll be 8:00 in the morning till 1 a.m. So when I could try to balance that out, that's what I try to do. And that's actually pretty much like part of what that book is about as well, is finding that work-life balance. So
I'm gonna check that book out because my wife is an accountant, right? And I'm not. So again, highest and best use. I suck at bookkeeping. Like I'm just not that guy, right? And because it's boring, right? My wife loves that stuff, and I was like, hey, you should come work for me. And one of the things she said, and she goes, she goes, first, you and I work very differently. I like our dynamic now. And I think if I worked with you and then lived with you, that would be a thing. But she said the other thing that was interesting was that I am like you. I talk about real estate if my eyes are open and I'm breathing, I'm talking about real estate. Right. And I think I've told you, and I've told a bunch of people, that I have this 3-foot rule that if I'm consuming oxygen and there's another human being within 3 or 4 feet of me consuming oxygen, at some point during the, hi, how are you? What you doing today? Kind of conversation, I work in the fact that I'm a real estate investor. Right. And my kids roll their eyes. My wife will walk away when she knows that I must go into a mode or something because, she won't even stick around anymore to listen to the conversation. So obsessive is, I understand that mentality. Let me just say that. Right.
It's good and bad.
Yeah, it's good because you're passionate. And I was talking with a gentleman earlier today, and he was in the insurance business, and he'd get the Sunday night blues because he just did not want to go to work on Monday. Mm-hmm. And I wake up Monday morning like a shotgun out of bed, can't wait to go get cracking. Right. Yeah. That hasn't worn off in all the years I've been doing this. So I hear you. You do what you're passionate about and you'll never work a day in your life. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people get obsessive over making X amount of dollars, right? Like they want to make $100,000 or they want to make $250,000 or $1 million.
Hey man, me too.
And I try to get out of that mindset of being obsessive over a dollar amount, because ultimately it's really not going to make you completely happy, whatever dollar amount you're making. So really you got to figure out what makes you happy in general in life, and the dollar amount isn't it. So I'm trying to work more on that.
Yeah. And the thing is that I found in my own career where I'm happy and I'm passionate about something, and I go and I do all the right things, whether I'm in sales and I'm making calls and going and seeing customers, or marketing where you're consistent, or running an operation and making sure that you're growing people and all that. If you focus on those things, a former boss and mentor of mine, Pete Black, used to say, keep the main thing the main thing. And that main thing for me, and sounds like for you, is all about doing the things that you're passionate about and doing them correctly and with good intent. And when you do that, when you execute well, money follows, right? You don't have to sweat the money because it just happens.
Right.
Well, man, hey, so when you're not talking about real estate in those 14 seconds out of the day that you're not obsessing like me, what do you like to do? What do you do to keep busy? Do you have hobbies, or what's your life like? Your non-real estate life?
So when it's warm out here, I love to golf. I try to golf at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times. You know how it is weather out here. We don't always get nice days. So if we get a nice day, you got to jump out there and golf. So really like to go to different places to golf. And I'm big on traveling. So I have to go at least somewhere every month. I always make a priority to that. I'm not married. I have no kids. So I don't have no dog. So I have no real ties to have to be locked down somewhere. Right. So I'm actually going next week. I'm going to Mexico for, I think, like 3 weeks, and I'm going to travel around there. And I like to always be on the move. I'm not going to lie. I get stagnant in my mind. I actually do better in different places. And don't get me wrong, will I have a computer open running comps on the beach? Probably, but it'll be nice.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this job, right? Is that if you have a team in place executing your system, you can work anywhere, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't much matter.
Yep. I took my laptop out on the kayak the other day.
Risky. Careful. Make sure you're backing everything up to the cloud, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Wet keyboards don't work well. That's awesome.
So, I would say those are the biggest things. And then, traveling is really a big thing for me. So
yeah. Well, the other part, I think it was a commercial I saw actually, was Ewan McGregor, the actor. And he was saying, on your deathbed, you're not going to wish that you bought that thing. You're going to wish that you went and experienced or went and saw something. Right. And so while you're young and able to do it, might as well, right? Go live.
That reminds me, 2 months ago, I went to look at I really wanted a BMW i8, which I don't know if you know what car that is. It's the one with the butterfly doors or whatever. And I was like, all right, I want this car, I got to get it. And I go there, I put a deposit down, and the next day I went to Mexico and then I came back and I was like, you know what? It's like, I don't really want that car. Like, yeah, it'd be cool, but like, do I really need it? Is it going to really make me like that happy? I could go use the 75 grand and go on some trips or put something in my house that I want to. And
go to Scotland and hit a golf ball around St. Andrews, for God's sakes, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's really, really true about what you had just said.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, Gary, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm excited for how well you're doing. I certainly appreciate and respect how you run your business. So thank you very much for joining us today. Hey, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach out and connect?
I do have my website. So my company name is Flippin CT. LLC.com is the website, but it's Flippin CT is our company. And so it's basically just flipping with no G. And then CT. Also, I can give my number on here if that's okay.
Right.
So my cell phone number is 914-207-5729. And people can call, text me, whatever. So, I'm always looking for deals. If you're a wholesaler and you have deals, or if you have a question, you need comps, whatever I can do to help, more than happy to do so.
Awesome. Well, Gary, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's really good to see you, buddy. And hopefully we'll see you at the next CTREA meeting in June.
I'll be in Mexico, but.
Oh, you will? That's right. Lucky. All right. So maybe later this summer.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
This has been the Real Estate Underground Podcast, a CTREA presentation. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends. If there's a specific topic you want us to cover, post it in the comments. For more information on the Real Estate Underground Podcast or CTREA, go to realestateundergroundpodcast.com or ctrea.com. Until next time, happy investing.
This has been the Real Estate Underground. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps us grow. Until next time, Undergrounders, remember your real estate journey begins with a simple step forward. Now get to it. Bye for now.